I want to bring in Ambassador James Woolsey, former Central Intelligence Director. Mr. Ambassador, Director, I should say, I think Europe is overwhelmed by terror. They just don't have the manpower to cope with this threat. What do you say?
Well, it's not just the terror directly. It's also that Europe is looking like it's coming apart. You had Brexit. You have the Italian banking system. The Italians more or less invented banking 5 centuries or so ago, and that's certainly not going well for them. You have a priest getting murdered in the midst of serving the Mass. What has to happen before the Europeans and the Americans recognize that radical Islam is at war with us and we need to deal with it?
Well, do you think that Europe is close to communal strife? And by that I mean native-born French people attacking migrants, attacking Muslims. Are we close to that?
We're close to and already to some extent in domestic conflict of different types in Europe. We're not quite there yet in the United States, but we have our own stresses, the racial issues that have come out in the conventions and the like. I think that every morning I wake up and I think that maybe the headlines of the paper are wrong, and really it's sometime in the 1930s rather than sometime like today, because I keep seeing things repeated. Putin acting like Hitler and taking over his neighbors. So far, no Holocaust, but he's basically behaving the way Hitler did in the 30s in terms of neighboring countries. There's just a lot going on.
But why no mention of this? I mean, the first night of the Democrat National Convention, there was no mention of terror. It didn't appear. 61 speeches, no mention. Last night, Bill Clinton gave a passing reference to terror and ISIS, but that was about it. Why nothing from this convention?
I suppose a number of people are of the view that if they don't talk about it, it'll go away. And at least they won't be blamed for it if they don't propose doing anything about it.
That is surely a political risk for the administration, because if that comes here and the incidents speed up, huge political problem.
It's terrible. You know, at the beginning of the Battle of Trafalgar, Admiral Nelson flew a flag. England expects every man to do his duty. He was killed shortly thereafter, but the British went on to win the battle, win the war, and dominate the seas for many, many years. We have to have a leader. You can't win a war that A, you don't admit it exists, and the other side does pretty much whatever it wants to and is doing more and more bloody things, and not admit that it exists and not organize around somebody, some country to lead. Typically, during the Cold War, that was us. We took the lead. But President Obama is very far from that. He's irrelevant now, increasingly irrelevant.
Oh, dear. Director James Woolsey, again, thank you very much for joining us, sir. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you.